Tonight, course correcting for rogue councillors.
The last 4 years, we've had one individual who has hijacked every meeting.
Sarnia's mayor requesting stronger authority to remove elected colleagues.
I'm disappointed that they didn't name the bill after me.
Plus, public debate.
This new building gives me hope because people need more than a temporary place to sleep.
The latest on a Woodstock homeless shelter converted from a former YMCA. And all-access athletics.
A lot of local minor sports organizations are kind of slowly disappearing.
The team effort to keep sports affordable for Huron County kids.
We kind of see how with the landscape of minor sports changing, there's a few kids maybe not taking that leap.
CTV News with Carlyle Fiset.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Sarnia's mayor says new provincial rules for removing municipal councillors who commit serious conduct violations won't work as intended. Mike Bradley has been pushing the government for action, but he says the legislation presented is flawed. Sean Irvin reports.
Municipal councillors province-wide will soon have a mechanism to turf one of their own for serious conduct violations. But it won't be easy. Doing so will require the review of a local and provincial integrity commissioner, along with the unanimous support of a local council. Sarnia Mayor Mike Bradley calls the entire concept a weak first step.
The general idea behind this legislation is good. It's good. However, the execution is not going to work.
Through letter-writing campaigns, Bradley has pushed for almost a year, demanding enhanced abilities to remove badly behaving councillors. He says what the province has come up with falls short.
You need a simple majority. Because I can guarantee you, and I believe it would happen in Sarnia, that if there was a move to remove someone, there will be obstructionists. The last 4 years, we've had one individual who has hijacked every meeting.
Bradley is referring to Councillor Bill Dennis, who has been banned from taking part in person in Sarnia City Council meetings after an investigation found he violated harassment and violence policies. Most recently, he's also been accused of offensive commentary towards local Indigenous groups. Bradley says it's Dennis's efforts to hijack council meetings that drove him to get the province to act. Yet Dennis, who is running for mayor of Sarnia in the next election, dubs Bradley a hypocrite, while at the same time also acknowledging his own ability to stir the pot.
I'm disappointed that they didn't name the bill after me.
Dennis is not a fan of Bill 9 as presented, but believes it's a better alternative than what Bradley has proposed.
And I'm glad it has to be unanimous. I don't think it would have been right to have some body that's not connected to the community make this decision.
Dennis contends he would never vote to remove a colleague from council, even one he opposes politically, unless criminal activity was involved. Meanwhile, Bradley says the province has failed to give local politicians the tools they need to head off a wave of radical change.
I'm seeing this sort of right-wing extreme groups coming out trying to take over local councils. And I think that's going to get worse as we head into this election.
Sean Irvin, CTV News.
Members of the public were able to weigh in today on a controversial housing project in Woodstock. Oxford County councillors have decided to turn the community's former YMCA into a homeless shelter. As Brian Bicknell reports, it's a plan generating plenty of debate.
It is people falling through the cracks over and over again until there was nowhere left to fall. I have watched my son struggle in ways that I would never wish on another family.
An emotional self-disclosure for Tracy Sherman. The Woodstock mother told Oxford County Council of her family's struggles with a son who has schizophrenia and lives on the street.
This new building gives me hope because people need more than a temporary place to sleep. They need stability. They need dignity, They need safety.
She was one of several people who spoke at Wednesday's council meeting about news that became public last week. Last month, council approved the purchase of the former Woodstock Y building on Dundas Street to be redeveloped into a homelessness support center. The decision taking place behind closed doors, a move that didn't sit well with some residents.
I can't believe I'm standing up here to be against this.
Yep.
Your process of how you've run this behind closed doors and to find out through a leaked media report is where we're standing today. It's ridiculous. Every county person should be embarrassed at how that happened.
There are people who are unrepresented here today that we shouldn't forget, and that's people who are sleeping under tarps tonight, people who slept in tents last night in parks. And there are businesses that came to open up their business this morning and had somebody in their doorway and they couldn't open up their business because there was somebody sleeping in the doorway and they had to phone the police.
Council supported a motion by Councillor Deb Tate to hold a public input meeting for the Homelessness Support Centre before the end of July.
It's not invading the homeless center. There was no input from anybody other than around this table of that location.
Also today, County Council voted in favor of sole sourcing the architectural design work for the new Homelessness Support Centre at a cost of up to $250,000. That work to be done in parallel with the public input process. Brian Bicknell, CTV News, Woodstock.
For the second time in a month, London's planning committee is pushing back against a developer's high-rise plan in an existing neighborhood. Daryl Newcomb has more on the resident response and whether that's gaining influence over City Hall decisions.
The plan is not compatible with the existing surrounding neighborhood.
At this week's planning committee meeting, neighbors were opposed to rezoning 119 to 127 Center Street to permit a 10-story, 156-unit apartment building. City staff had recommended the rezoning be refused because it represents over-intensification, and Ward Councillor Skylar Frank agreed.
I have generally supported developments that create that density and those infill opportunities, but that doesn't mean that we support every single proposal that goes forward.
The property is essentially on the boundary of two very distinct neighborhoods. To the south and east, high-density apartments and townhouses, and to the west, single-family homes.
I think that this neighborhood and area has already had an incredible amount of intensification, and I appreciate now how the cumulative changes are impacting the residents.
Earlier this month, City Council denied a planning application for a 4-story long-term care home on Bluegrass Drive. Both that project and Center Street faced organized neighborhood opposition.
In my 4 years as the ward councillor, this application has been the one that I've received the most communication on.
Ultimately, the planning committee voted against recommending the high-rise on Center Street. Afterwards, Councillor Steve Lehman said while the opinion of neighbors is one factor he considers during contentious rezoning applications, he also considers information from staff reports as well as communication from the developer.
I weigh each one on the merits of each individual case. I don't have a blanket statement for or against. I look very closely at each individual case.
Lehman doesn't believe there's a recent trend by the planning committee towards giving in to the loudest neighborhood voices.
This is a challenging committee because we have to hold the greater need for housing up against, various concerns for people who don't like to see change in their neighborhood.
Council will make a final decision about the rezoning on Center Street on June 2nd. Daryl Newcomb, CTV News.
Weather Network experts are predicting a cooler than seasonal summer for Ontario. In their seasonal forecast for June, July, and August, the transition to El Nino will hold back hot, dry weather in some regions. A frequent threat of showers and thunderstorms is expected for Ontario in the southern and eastern areas. They're forecasting a warmer and drier summer out west, though, which could increase concerns about wildfires and drought.
Good evening. I feel like we're into the beautiful summer weather already. Now, I don't think we're going to see extended periods of heat and humidity like we saw last summer, but we're still in for some gorgeous weather as we head over the next couple of months. So don't worry, it's not going to be cool and damp throughout the summer. We're still going to get lots of gorgeous weather conditions. High pressure has been in play through the day today, but we've had a weak front slip through, and that brought a bit of cloud cover across our region. As we head into the evening, we're back into that sunshine, and the temperature holds nice and mild. The winds have shifted to the north, and that will usher in some cooler temperatures for tomorrow, but still above 20 degrees. And it's been a bit cooler along that shoreline of Lake Huron today with that northerly wind coming off, but still into the upper teens. I'll have all your local weather details, much of the same in this forecast. Lots of sunshine. I'll have your local weather coming up in just a few minutes. Carlyle, back to you.
Thanks, Julie. Sarnia's Police Services Board is changing direction when it comes to legal costs for the city's police chief. Board members initially indicated they would cover expenses for a civil suit filed by the chief. They've now stated no public funds will be used. Jerry Dewan reports.
The shift comes after the board reviewed the employment agreement with the chief and determined it does not cover legal fees for lawsuits initiated by him. The board faced criticism for using public money to fund the suit. The board now says the contract terms strictly limit indemnification to instances where the chief is named as a defendant for action taken in his official capacity. They describe the lawsuit as entirely personal. Earlier this year, Chief Davis launched a $1.5 million civil action against the Sarnia Journal, its parent company, and majority owner Nathan Calhoun. The suit alleges defamation stemming from articles published about a consulting business operated by Davis and the hiring of his business partner by the police service. In a separate matter, the Police Services Board has retained an employment law firm from Toronto to complete an independent workplace investigation concerning Chief Davis. In mid-May, the board announced it had initiated an investigation following a workplace harassment complaint filed against Davis. At that time, the board said the chief was suspended with pay pending the outcome of that investigation. Jerry Dewan, CTV News.
London police say they've made an arrest after a stabbing attack in the city's north end last weekend. According to police, officers were called to a residence near Fanshawe Park Road and Hyde Park Road early Saturday morning. They say an argument had turned violent as people were leaving and the homeowner was stabbed. Police say the victim has serious injuries but will recover. A 20-year-old man was arrested nearby, now charged with aggravated assault. London police say they're looking for someone accused of exposing himself on Richmond Row. They say the incident happened Sunday, May 10th, releasing this image of the suspect. He's described as white, between 50 and 60 years old, about 5'10", with a medium build and a scruffy gray beard. The Prime Minister announced negotiations are underway to purchase a cutting-edge aerial surveillance system from Sweden. As Judy Trin reports, this deal would signal a further shift for the federal government away from buying American.
A packed room at a defense conference, listening to the Prime Minister's mantra.
Build, partner, buy. We are focused first on building in Canada.
Exemplified by an investment in a joint Swedish-Canadian venture.
I'm pleased to announce that Canada has entered into negotiations to procure Saab's airborne early warning and control aircraft.
Saab's Global Eye surveillance system is built on the platform of Bombardier's corporate jet. The company has at least 40 aircraft in its pipeline to be sold to Canada and other allies. 3,000 jobs could be created. Economic spin-offs are in the tens of billions of dollars.
What this will do is create a new layer of job opportunities in terms of the modifications of the aircraft. So what Bombardier is doing now is getting actively involved in the discussions to create this secondary production.
Saab beat out an American competitor for its surveillance aircraft, momentum that it hopes could lift its chances of convincing Canada to purchase its Gripen fighter jet instead of the US-made F-35. There are lineups to get into its cockpit.
We can show now as a company and as a country how closely we want to work with Canada. And if I can show how I can create an industrial collaboration and a hub on this type of capability in Canada.
At the Lockheed Martin booth, the F-35 simulator and its test pilot attracts interest but not buzz. Amid U.S. trade tensions, moving forward with procuring fighter jets has been paused for more than a year, worrying Canadian suppliers who have much to lose if the F-35 isn't selected.
direct jobs, but also strengthening the company's programs and capabilities.
Wrapping up the negotiations for these surveillance planes will likely take a few more months. As for a decision on the fighter jets, the federal government is still refusing to say when. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
Meanwhile, Mark Carney is officially losing one of his MPs. His former Environment Minister, Stephen Guilbeault, is stepping away from federal politics, citing the Prime Minister's climate policy as the reason why. With more, here's Mike Lecouture.
Stephen Guilbeault said his first goodbyes to his Quebec colleagues in the Liberal Party, sharing a warm moment with the Finance Minister on the way out.
I want to applaud the person. I want to applaud his dedication to build Canada.
Guilbeault said his decision to leave politics began when he resigned from cabinet after the federal government inked an energy deal with Alberta with a plan to build a new pipeline. He's worried it will put Canada's emission reduction targets out of reach.
We're not committing to being carbon neutral by 2050. We're saying something like we'll strive to be carbon neutral, but we know that we won't be able to achieve.
The former Environment Minister warns Canadians are going to pay the price for the rolling back of climate change policies that he helped champion. And the Quebec MP feels there has been a shift within the Liberal Party since last year's election.
That platform, so commitments that we made to Canadians, mentioned climate change 28 times. It did not mention pipeline once.
Hours before those comments, Prime Minister Mark Carney defended his government's record on fighting climate change while also praising Guilbeault's work.
We worked together when I was UN Special Representative on climate action and finance as well, so we worked together closely in a variety of areas, and I've always enjoyed working with him.
While Guilbeault feels the Liberals have watered down climate change policies, Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre countered that argument.
Mr. Guilbeault's radical anti-development agenda, which Mr. Carney enthusiastically advocated in his own book, all of that remains in place.
Guilbeault says he's not the only member of the Liberal caucus who's uncomfortable with what's happening on climate change. Mike Lecouture, CTV News, Ottawa.
4 former Huron County high school students have launched a new program giving back to kids, hoping to help cover the rising cost of playing sports. With more on their all-access athletics initiative, here's Scott Miller.
Braden Radford and Owen Taylor have spent the month of May giving away running shoes to high school students across Huron County.
It's put a lot of smiles on kids' faces, and it's been really, really rewarding.
It wasn't that long ago that Radford and Taylor were in high school themselves, so they know the value of a free pair of shoes, which is really just the first of many ideas they have to try and help families keep their kids in sports in Huron and Perth County.
When you add it up over the time, it's a lot of gas money, wear and tear, and just everything kind of adds up. So we're trying to help fund, kind of get those kids back in by whatever means we need. So like registration, equipment, kind of if they need help with paying for certain things, they can come to us and kind of get that little boost.
Radford Taylor and 2 other high school friends have started All Access Athletics last year. The goal is simple, to try and keep sports as affordable as possible for kids in Huron and Perth counties.
A lot of local minor sports organizations are kind of slowly disappearing. You're seeing a lot of amalgamation. Families from Mitchell have to drive 30, 45 minutes. Families from Clinton have to drive 30, 45 minutes to practice on a regular basis, or they're driving 2 hours for games, and that's just unreasonable for a lot of families. So if we can provide those kids the opportunity to continue doing those things as the landscape of minor sports changes, then that's what we want to do.
Giving away 120 pairs of shoes donated by New Balance and the Run Parlor is their first big project, but All Access has a 5K run planned and a ball hockey tournament and a used equipment drive in the works. It's all to help give kids who love sports but maybe can't afford it the ability to keep doing what they love.
All 4 of us did sports growing up, saw the impact and how good it was for us positively. And we kind of see how with the landscape of minor sports changing, how there kind of is a few kids maybe not taking that leap into sports off the start or later on in years just because of financial stress.
We just want to be able to support as many kids as we can being active in sports, as that's kind of our main focus.
In Clinton, Scott Miller, CTV News.
Still ahead here for competition and camaraderie. More than 1,000 Special Olympians in London this week. That story coming up in the Tee-Up with Brent Lale.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We begin tonight with Ontario's latest.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. ctvlondon.ca, your home for news.
Welcome back. It's the Tee Up with Brent Lail. Brent, a big week for high school sports and OFSA qualification.
Yeah, 4 spring sports are wrapping up right now as teams are looking to earn their trips to provincials. Unfortunately, we can't be everywhere because there's so much going on, but let's start on the diamond. There's Taven Barnett driving in 2 for the St. Joe's Rams, giving them a 5-0 lead over the Lucas Vikings in the Wassa final at Labatt Park. A couple of batters later, Jared Schuin singles the opposite way through the right side. A pair also come in. Great slide from Luke Van Velzer. The rest was up to starter Lincoln Kellington. He'd go the distance, throwing all 7 innings, allowing just 3 runs. Hey, the Rams win at 9-3. They become the first team ever from St. Thomas to win Wassa baseball, and they're off to OFSA in Windsor.
It was awesome, fun. Yeah, took a lot of grit, good swings, good pitching. We got a great starter. We got good depth on the bats. It's gonna be a battle in OFSA.
Felt great. Just tried to get ahead every at bat. First pitch was super important to get ahead. Our batting depth, we're just great through the order. Our top 6 guys are absolutely amazing. We proved everyone wrong. Great team out here. We'll put up a battle under OFSA.
To the pitch, there's Gianluca Di Candido with the early penalty, giving Mother Teresa a 1-0 lead over STA in the Wassa soccer final this afternoon. Then watch this. Jacob Brown flicks it to himself, gets in on a breakaway, and puts it away. The Spartans, who finished second last year at OFSA, are headed back to the provincial tournament, looking to finish what they started a year ago. On the girls' side, AAA STA beat Medway 4-0 to advance to OFSA.
Now to the Memorial Cup in Kelowna. The Kitchener Rangers are into the Sunday's final after a perfect group stage performance.
Yeah, they've looked so dominant so far, Carlyle, in this tournament, taking down all 3 teams so far in the round robin, including Chicoutimi last night 3-2. The Blue Shirts will have to wait a while to find out who their opponent will be in the final on Sunday. The Kelowna Rockets and Everett Silvertips close out the round robin tonight, but at this point, any of the other 3 teams beside the Rangers could still end up in the final.
2 significant harness races are coming up this weekend at the Western Fair Raceway.
Yeah, both the Forest City Pace and the Cam Luck Classic go Friday night. There's more than $500,000 up for grabs on the night.
This is one of the most important races of the year in North America for older pacing horses. We've got some of the very best on the continent going to be here, and some of the world's best drivers as well. So it's going to be a real treat. Again, if you're an existing fan or a newcomer, I think you're going to witness a really special night here Friday.
Now, more than 1,000 high school athletes from across the province are at Western University this week.
Yeah, and I just love Special Olympics. It's one of the purest forms of sport. The past 2 days, the cities have welcomed Special Olympics Ontario and the high school championships, which were hosted by London Police. With pomp and circumstance, Special Olympians from around the province entered the opening ceremonies at Western University. Hosted by the London Police Service, more than 1,000 high school-aged athletes are here, competing in multiple sports.
I can honestly say there is something very, very special about the energy these games bring to community. When you watch these athletes compete, you are reminded of what truly, truly matters. You see courage, you see determination, you see joy, you see people lifting each other up and celebrating one another.
The athletes are participating in floorball, bocce, track and field, soccer, and basketball. But it's about more than the competition.
They bring together youth with and without intellectual disabilities, competing on the same team in unified sport. They show us what schools, community, and society can be when everyone feels welcomed, valued, and included.
They enjoyed a small concert, and the joy was evident.
Cheering each other on and making memories together.
And then for the most special moment, the torch arrived at Thompson Arena.
Let me win, but if I cannot win, let me be brave in the attempt.
Chief Tai Trong and a student from Beale helped carry the torch to the stage where they lit the cauldron. The games were underway. And that is just so awesome. And the London Majors are busy this week. Games Thursday night and Friday night. And actually this week, the Tourism London announced you can now book tours of Labatt Park. You know, it's over 100 years old. They've got cool stuff all around the park showing the history. You can see old artifacts that are more than 100 years old as well in the old Roy McKay clubhouse. So super cool.
And a good weather week to do something like that, to get outside, Julie.
I've never been. Have you been?
I haven't. I've been to Labatt Park, not for a tour, though.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that would be a really neat experience, and definitely to learn more about the history of the park.
It's got a lot of it.
For sure.
Thanks for the info, Brent. That's cool. Today was one of those days, though. It was just beautiful out. Gorgeous weather for any sport that you're out playing. We did have a bit of cloud cover associated with this cold front come through, but all it did was bring us a bit of a flip in our winds. So it's not going to do anything to our beautiful weather that we've been experiencing. Here's a look at our CTV tower cam from earlier in the day, and you can see the cloud cover that I was mentioning, and that was that weak front that slipped through, but we're getting back to clear conditions. Earlier in the day, beautiful. Lots of sunshine. We hit 25 degrees. The temperature briefly dipped as we pushed past late afternoon, and that was just that cloud cover. 15 degrees our low temperature, so coming in above for both. Now we have heat warnings in effect across parts of the southern prairies, breaking records. Temperatures climbing 30+ degrees over the past couple of days. It's been extreme in terms of going from some cool spring-like weather to a blast of heat. Now this is all associated with the upper air pattern. I mentioned the blocking pattern. So we have a big ridge, and it's allowing all of this warmth to build. So why aren't we that hot? Well, here's the reason. As that ridge is building in the upper atmosphere, it starts to drop down over the Great Lakes, and then we pick up that cooler flow of air. The good news is we're going to stay like that. So temperatures are going to hover between 20 and 23 degrees over the coming days. We don't have a major shift. The heat and humidity not building. So when a blocking pattern like this sets up, we're on the good side of the block. I mentioned this last night in terms of high pressure in the atmosphere, but that means we are into the sunshine. So we have rainfall to the east of us and cooler conditions and rainfall to the west, but we're not right under that heat and humidity. So that's the good part of it. We are still into the cool flow of air. Today we had that weak front slip through, bringing us that northerly flow, and as we head into the overnight and tomorrow, the winds will continue out of the north. That keeps temperatures a bit cooler along that shoreline of Lake Huron. So the cottage country areas, your temperature not quite as warm as it will be in the interior tomorrow. Overnight, nice and comfortable, anywhere between 9 and 10 degrees. We'll be into lots of sunshine once again as we head into your Thursday and Friday. Now you can see that cloud cover I was mentioning off to the northeast, and that cloud will cut off just east of Toronto. A few showers just off of Georgian Bay on Friday, but for us, no wet weather in this forecast, so we will be basking in sunshine and beautiful conditions as we head into your Thursday morning. 13 degrees by the afternoon, coming in at 22, and the winds out of the northwest. Heading into Friday, sunshine, 22, 20 degrees on a Saturday, Sunday, 20 degrees. Temperatures like this time of year, this is perfect weather. You just want to bottle up the sunshine and the cool, comfortable weather in terms of being outside, gardening weather, and perfect if you are planning to do some outdoor painting, staining your deck or sanding. I know this time of year we like to get a lot of outdoor projects done. This forecast delivers dry weather, so I'm sure anyone who pours concrete or works in construction loves this weather. It's nice and comfortable with lots of sunshine and dry conditions. Mainly sunny as we head into Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Daytime highs 19 to 22 degrees. My job was so easy today. I love that. Sunshine will carry us right through the weekend. Get out and enjoy it. Carlyle, back to you.
Thanks very much, Julie. When we come back, a pending price drop at the pumps, expected fuel savings ahead of the weekend.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner. We want London's next big lottery winner to be you.
Chicken dinners, too. Delicious. We have a $100 OLG voucher up for grabs in Prize Town tomorrow morning at 7:10.
CTV London has your chance to win a 4-pack of season passes to East Park, London to keep cool and have fun all summer long. Enter now at ctvlondon.ca for your chance to win.
Gas prices are expected to drop in the days ahead. Industry analysts say at midnight tonight they could fall as much as 10 cents a litre. That would put Ontario's average price for regular fuel at about $1.74 a litre. That comes on the heels of falling oil prices, which have dropped about $10 a barrel in the last week. Officials with the Canadian Independent Business Federation say they want the federal government to provide more tax relief for small business owners. They say the feds should lower their rate from 9% to 6% and raise the $500,000 small business threshold to keep pace with inflation. Ontario is among several provinces with plans to significantly reduce small business rates. According to the CFIB, Parliament's Industry Committee has already recommended it be raised to $1 million to enhance Canada's productivity. New rules were put in place at the start of this year meant to crack down on predatory lending practices, including payday loans. However, those rules don't apply to anyone who had signed up for a high-interest loan before January 1st, meaning they're still struggling to pay off their debts. Pat Foran reports.
Terry O'Halloran of Barrie runs a small engine repair business. He had health problems 5 years ago and lost his leg. He needed to get a wheelchair and make modifications to his home. He took out a $4,500 loan and was paying $200 per month. He never missed a payment and thought it would be paid off soon.
That's why I called them, trying to get a hold of them to see what the final amount is left on the loan. Like I figure, I was figuring maybe a couple of $100. That was going to be it after 5 years.
What O'Halloran thought was a loan was actually a line of credit, first with cash money and later taken over by Lend Direct. He did refinance once, but was shocked to find out 3/4 of his payment was going to interest. He still owes almost $3,700.
At $4,500, if you do the math, it comes out to pretty near $10,000 for a $4,500 loan.
The criminal rate of interest that could be charged before January 1st, 2025 was almost 48%. Now it's capped at 35% interest, but for some who had existing loans before the changes were made, they're still paying the higher amount.
I know I can't continue to pay this thing. The interest is going to keep going on there.
CTV News reached out to Lend Direct but did not get a response. The Credit Counseling Society says taking out payday or high-interest loans or lines of credit can create a spiral of debt.
The fact is, the interest rate is so high, they're very, very difficult to pay off once you fall into them.
O'Halloran says he still has to purchase medical supplies and has other bills to pay. He regrets borrowing the money.
I could probably pay it back in a matter of another 5 years. And that's going to put me 71 years old. I figured by now this thing would have been taken care of.
Pat Foran, CTV News.
Canada's main stock index finished lower today, weighed down by losses in the basic materials sector. The TSX dropped almost 250 points. In New York, the Dow rose 182, the Nasdaq up 18. Canadian dollar lost 1/10 of a cent today. On commodity markets, gold fell more than $50 an ounce, and oil was down more than $5 a barrel. Still ahead, Canada's trade minister heading stateside. What's on the agenda ahead of a looming trade deal deadline? Welcome back. Canada's trade minister is scheduled to arrive in Washington next week as we get closer to a July 1st deadline to review the Canada-US-Mexico trade deal. With more on Canada's priorities ahead of next week's conversations, here's Abigail Beeman.
Dominic LeBlanc isn't saying much about his travel plans, but his key message is things aren't so bad and people are paying too much attention to where Mexico is in trade talks relative to Canada. Attention is on Mexico these days because by all appearances they are further ahead. The United States Trade Representative's office announced it will kick off the first of 3 rounds of formal negotiations with Mexico this week, but made no mention of Canada and did not respond to a request from CTV News. The U.S. has continued to make clear it has a number of trade irritants. Earlier this week at an event, Jameson Greer referenced trade challenges with Canada. While Canada-U.S. Trade Minister Dominic LeBlanc tells CTV he met with Greer Monday for an hour via video and said Canada's chief trade negotiator was on the call too. LeBlanc tells us he will head to Washington for in-person meetings next week. Before his trip to New York, the Prime Minister told reporters this morning his meetings there are focused on the private sector, with institutions that are either already investing or are interested in investing in Canada.
A lot has changed in Canada, and we're moving forward at speed. You just have to just refer back to what we're discussing here. $500 billion of defense-related investment in the course of the next decade in Canada. Even in New York, that's real money. That's of interest, and there's opportunities to partner, and those will be the discussions. It's not a trade mission in that sense in terms of trade negotiations.
The Prime Minister also referenced ongoing conversations LeBlanc is having, and of course all this comes against the backdrop of the July 1st deadline for a review of the Canada-US-Mexico free trade deal. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
The federal government has announced a deal to export 1 million tons of liquefied natural gas per year to Germany for 20 years. The fuel will be shipped from a yet-to-be-built terminal in northern BC. Deliveries are expected to begin in about 5 years. A new report shows a small group of Canadian cities are driving national progress on diversifying our trade. According to the Canadian Chamber of Commerce, Calgary, Ottawa, Toronto, Saskatoon and Kelowna, BC made the strongest gains in export diversification beyond the U.S. market last year. Calgary and Ottawa posted the largest increases, both topping 64%. Manufacturing regions in Ontario were among the locations seeing weaker overall trade performance and limited diversification momentum. A fireball lit up the sky early this morning, visible across parts of this province and the U.S., captured by many doorbell and dash cameras. With more, here's Sean Leathong.
A flash in the early morning sky, a meteor entering Earth's atmosphere seen in Buffalo and as far away as this one in Queensville.
Whoa, what the? I was coming out of Tim Hortons, grabbing a coffee after the gym and seen a big flash of light.
Happening around 10 after 5 this morning, Brian Follow caught the flash on his dash cam in Stouffville.
It was cloudy in the morning, so you seen it come through the sky a little bit. And then it came down, got home, decided to check my dash cam, and I seen the meteor streaking through the sky.
According to astronomer Peter Brown at the University of Western Ontario, the actual location of the meteor was hundreds of kilometers away.
Started over Lake Erie and ended in upper New York State. It was caused by an object about the size of between a softball and a basketball that hit the atmosphere, moving about 50 times the speed of sound.
Best seen in western New York, Brown says the bright flash is the object breaking apart in Earth's atmosphere, with nothing likely hitting the ground.
The pressure of the atmosphere causes it to start breaking up, and at some point that pressure just exceeds the strength of the object, and it just comes apart catastrophically, and it produces a bright flash.
Brown says events like this are common, but it's a bit unusual for an object to get this low in our atmosphere, creating a viewing radius extending 400 to 500 kilometers.
It's mind-boggling to see something, how science can be so huge, right? It's all around us.
And in a flash, it's gone. Sean Leathong, CTV News.
The demolition of a former Old East Village bank building created an opportunity for the business district's latest mural.
My father had a business not too far from the Old East Village at the 5 Points at Hamilton, Egerton, Trafalgar. So I love to see the revitalization of this neighborhood.
Really trying to communicate that cultural food lives here, so we're going to be including a text element that says "just like Mom made it" in Old East Village.
Work began over the weekend preparing the wall at Unique Food Attitudes on Dundas Street. The Old East Village BIA has partnered with the restaurant to create the food-inspired mural. Weather permitting, they say the artwork should be complete by the end of the week.
This is a beautiful capture. Thank you to Annie Lindenfield for sending this photograph in. Mainly clear overnight with sunshine in the forecast a Thursday and much of the same. Sunny skies will continue right through the weekend. Daytime highs in the low 20s, comfortable with low humidity.
Residents in a small northern Manitoba community say their town is at a breaking point. Empty grocery store shelves have become the norm 1 year after a wildfire brought widespread destruction. Some are being offered the option to relocate, but as Alex Carpa reports, some would rather their home be saved.
Sylvia Smith reads a letter she received from the province, giving her the option to leave her home in Leaf Rapids.
If you would like to talk about moving, please contact your case counselor. Oh, I don't want to move.
The province says this is not a forced relocation of Leaf Rapids residents, but rather an opportunity to move somewhere with better access to essential services. However, Smith argues that those essential services should be restored to the town instead.
You want help, there's no help. You basically help yourself or drown. Sink or swim.
It's a harsh reality the over 200 people who call Leaf Rapids home face.
This is our meat section here, and as you can see, there's basically nothing here.
At the community's only grocery store, empty shelves have become all too normal, making it increasingly difficult for residents to buy basic food.
This is where our apples, oranges, everything would be normally.
Anderson says food shortages have been an ongoing issue for months, and it's heartbreaking to watch her hometown deteriorate.
It was a booming town. Like, there was so much going on here. Like, and you look at it now, it's like a fragment of what it was.
Leaf Rapids thrived in the 1970s as a hub for the nearby mine, but when it shut down in 2002, the town's decline began. Businesses closed and many services were reduced. The town's council also dissolved in 2019, leaving the province in charge. Then came last summer's wildfires, adding yet another challenge.
Majority of the residents have left Leaf Rapids over the last number of years, including after last year's devastating wildfire season, which, as you can see behind me, impacted many homes in the community.
A lot of these damages were done to these homes.
Raymond Moynier is still working to repair his home, but says access to resources is limited.
We're willing to stick it out. We're willing to fight for this town, this place, our north.
It's a sentiment shared by many who remain in Leaf Rapids, residents fighting not for an ending, but for a future. Alex Carpa, CTV News, Leaf Rapids, Manitoba.
There's been another arrest connected to a W5 investigation looking into an apparent sexual assault ring secretly drugging and assaulting intimate partners. According to Hamilton Police, Gilles Richard arranged sexual encounters with adult victims, drugged them without their knowledge, and sexually assaulted them while they were incapacitated. They say this arrest is connected to an investigation into another man, Brian Hayward, who faces dozens of charges. He's accused of being involved with a network of men secretly drugging and filming their intimate partners and sharing those videos online. President Donald Trump says more negotiations are necessary just days after claiming a deal with Iran was imminent.
Iran is very much intent. They want very much to make a deal. So far, they haven't gotten there. We're not satisfied with it, but we will be. We will be either that or we'll have to just finish the job. It looks like they want to just make a deal. They want to. I don't think they have a choice. They're just going back to the internet because they're getting clobbered. Their economy is in free fall. They have 250% inflation. Their money has no value. Their whole economic system is broken down. They thought they were going to outweight me. You know, we'll outweight him. He's got the midterms. I don't care about the midterms. Look what happened last night. That was the prelude to the midterms.
Now, the reason Donald Trump was expressing confidence in the upcoming U.S. midterm elections was because last night in Texas, a Trump-backed candidate comfortably defeated the incumbent Republican senator for the party's nomination. Israeli military leaders say they've killed the new leader of Hamas's military wing, launching airstrikes on Gaza City. They say the strikes killed Mohammed Odeh, his wife, son, and daughter. Local hospital officials say at least 5 people were killed, 12 others injured in the strike, which blew up a market.
London's top stories.
We have breaking news tonight out of Ottawa. The latest on the
breaking news alerts.
I'm tracking an area of severe weather. It'll start.
And watch live.
A developing story now from City Hall where.
Download the CTV News app.
Tonight, we're a little more than an hour away from puck drop for Game 4 of the NHL's Eastern Conference Final in Montreal. And as Geneviève Beauchemin reports, each of those pucks dropped tonight come from the same province the Canadians call home.
It's game on for NHL playoff puck production. A sport of its own, really. Thousands of logo-printed pucks have to quickly roll off the line here in Glasgow with each new playoff round. All the team's pucks are decorated here, but the hottest items, those adorned with the cherished C, says CEO Anita Chanda.
We're sending just to the Canadians about 3,000 for each game. But don't forget, there's retailers all across the country right now that want a piece of this.
There's warm-up and souvenir pucks, but in Glasgow also makes official game pucks.
They're similar to the other ones, except here is where you have the sensors.
Made in Canada, logo printed in these old army barracks in Quebec's eastern townships for all 32 NHL teams, but also the PWHL. These are champions pucks for the victorious Montreal Victoire.
Fans are buying merchandise, so we have a lot of products going out this week.
Local production, she says, helps in Glasgow react quickly when teams win or lose. The company has also scored deals for a wide range of logo-printed merchandise for several other leagues and has a busy summer ahead with FIFA and the Blue Jays' 50th anniversary. The company, too, is half a century old.
It's basically like the unknown secret of Quebec.
It was started by Jason Drellet's grandfather and started out making hockey sticks.
My grandfather founded Sherwood also as the first company, which we are in the building, Sherwood building.
Its history woven into the fabric of Canada's game. And while it says it treasures its relationships with all teams, well, there's a special connection to the Habs.
I have heard that there's a few kisses and good wishes going with every puck that's going into the Bell Centre.
And the workers are going to keep watching closely to see whether they have to keep making pucks with this logo on them for the next round. Geneviève Beauchemin, CTV News, Montreal.
That's it for us. Thanks for watching. For your latest local headlines, you can always head to our website. I'm back tonight with your late news at 11. Bye for now.